Hey guys, Jay here. So in this video today, I want to talk about the patch note, and specifically, I am noting out here some of I think it is the key takeaway point from all the nerfs. This is only the nerfs, right? So these are the key takeaway, and basically it is focusing around the mana stacking build and the attribute stacking build. So, well, hey, let's just get to it. If you want to see the full patch note, it is out already. It is in the Path of Exile website. You can just go here. This is POE.com. You go to this you go to this page, and you can click on the content update here and get the patch note. You can search for whatever you care about, right? So basically your build, but specifically I want to talk about some of the meta stuff, some of the famous, insane broken builds that we used to enjoy in the previous patch. So, first of all, Archmage is nerfed more than half. Specifically, it is now a flat 3% per 100 mana. It used to be able to scale to 6% at level 20, and if you scale it more, you can have 7, 8%. I used to have 8% before. It costs you more maximum mana on cast. The quality also now does not give you extra damage. So it is nerfed in multiple ways. It is more than half at level 20 because you don't have this one as well. So technically in the top end, right, the scaling ability of this one is probably at around 35% to 40% of what it used to be, roughly. Gemling legionaire Ascendancy class is nerfed. Now the node that gives you double the bonuses of all your attribute, which is the strong node for mana stacking, which is a pretty strong node for attribute stacking, is giving you a 20% less attribute. So if you play Gemling Legionnaire as a stat stacking build with Pillar of Cage God, Hands of Wisdom in action, Astramentis, or if you play it as a mana stacking build for Archmage, like my character, I also have a Gemling Legionnaire, which is the character I played the most. In the end, it was the Auto Sparker. It is, well, pretty much just killed. So 20% less attribute, very, very bad. Yeah, if you don't play the Gemling, if you play like a Invoker Monk, you are not affected by this one, but the next couple of things is going to affect your build. Astramentis, well, technically this is not really a heavy nerf. It is just slightly nerfed in the sense that in the top end, the power of the Astramentis is going to be the same. Let me just... Astramentis now have the range to roll from 50 to 100 instead of 80 to 100. So basically, it just harder to roll a high roll Astramentis, which is, I don't think it is the problem for people who can afford the Astramentis anyway, because they can just spend a couple more divines trying to gamba for a big roll. So I don't think this is as big of a nerf, but I guess this is actually fair because it is a very rare item, it is a very chase item, and I do think the power level of this item is not the problem. I think the power level of the following items, this following two, are the problem, and they actually addressed it. So Hands of Wisdom in action, flat damage, got nerfed by half. Hands of Wisdom in action is this paragraph, right? So it is, the flat damage is reduced by half basically. Now it is per 20 instead of per 10 intelligence. The attack speed is reduced by a lot. So it's 1% per 20 now instead of 3% per 25. So the math is, if you have 100 dex, it used to give you 12% attack speed. Now it is less than half that amount, only 5%. Pillar of the Cage God. Also nerf. Pillar of the Cage God is nerf. So basically everything that we used to have in the pillar is nerfed by half. All the bonuses is nerfed by half. So yeah. Stat stacking is nerfed by half here, nerfed by another half here. And if you play Gemling, you will also get nerf here. A lot of nerf, right? So yeah, chances are your build is going to be around 20% of the power that you are having right now. I think 20-25%, which probably is still going to be okay, if I'm being honest. I think it's still going to be okay, by the way. So I think the Pillar of the Cage God actually can still be a very powerful leveling unique items. In the end game, that is the problem, where the problem is. Oh, there is one other thing that I didn't note in here. Ingenuity. The Ingenuity unique belt now 30 to 50% increased bonus gained from equipped left ring. 30 to 50 from equipped right ring. So this means they are taking they are taking away the potential synergy with the ritual list. So it only affects 2 rings, which is the 2 base ring slot. It cannot affect the extra ring slot. And then the bonuses got nerfed by, the top end is now 50%, which, by the way, if you have a 50%, I think it is still very, very good. However, there's another nerf. If you look here, it is now 2 rolls instead of 1. So you have to roll the dice way more. You have to divine it way more. Now the chance for you to actually get both rolls at 50% is insane. All right? Insanely rare. Previously, you only have 1 roll, which is much easier to roll to get max or close to max roll. Now you need to have both of them to happen at the same time. So basically, this is 1 out of 20, right? Or 1 out of 21. It used to be, what it used to be was 1 out of 40, right? Now it is, so 0.025, 1 out of 20. But you need to times 1 out of 20 as well, so 0.05. So the chance is basically 100 times harder to actually get a max roll Ingenuity. Just saying, all right? I think if you have a max roll or close to max roll or very good roll, it's still a very, very good item, by the way. But hey, at least right now, it is not the only belt in the game. Right, so Ingenuity nerfed a lot. Okay. Next is Sorks. So Sorks also got nerfed in multiple way. It is not Sorks, actually, I'm sorry. It is Stormweaver. Stormweaver. So Stormweaver, first of all, the scaling with Arcane Search got nerfed. The exposure got nerfed by almost half. The double shock got nerfed, so it doesn't care about the duration. This doesn't really matter. What it cares about, what we really care about is the magnitude, and now it is a 25% less magnitude. So overall, it is a 25% less damage, just roughly, from this Ascendancy. I think this is still a very, very good note, by the way. The small mana Ascendancy got nerfed as well, so we have less mana because of this. 4% increased mana is actually a huge amount. Now we don't have it anymore. We just have 12% mana regen, which is a lot worse, right? So mana stacking got nerfed again. Archmage. Oh, I didn't even use Spark. Let me see. Spark fire way less projectiles. By quite a lot. Okay. So quality now grant so quite a lot less projectiles. So in the top end here, if we look at Spark, it is 9 projectiles. before it used to be, let's just say level 20, right? 14 plus 4, so 18. Half. So it is exactly half. Well, hey. For spark, mechanically the skill function, if you fire half the projectiles, it means you roughly deals half the damage. So again, very heavily nerfed, but I do think this skill is still very, very strong mechanically. Just the way it can bounce off the wall, so in close area it can still just like shotgun a target, and it's still pretty good. Hey, I think Spark is not entirely dead, but the main way of scaling Spark we used to have is Archmage is like heavily gutted. So anyway, next stuff, Demon Form. So Demon Form, this is the Infernalist here. So the Demon Form, now you lose a flat amount of life per second per Demon Flame. So this basically break all the Demon Form build to this point. The concept of Demon Form build was always we try to reduce the life with unique items, so our life get to a very small amount, like 300, 200. So the degen from the Demon Form used to be percent life base. If it is like 1%, if it is like 10% of 200 life, it's only like 20. And you can stack a bunch of flat life regen. Sometimes you can stack even more than the maximum life yourself. So technically you regen 100% life per second. So you can almost sustain an infinite amount of Demon Flame. That used to be the concept, right? Now you cannot do it anymore because now you lose a flat amount. We don't know exactly what is this flat amount, but the concept that we used to go for the Demon Flame build, for the Demon Form build, is completely gone. So any character that we used to play with this, it is completely bricked, right? So we need to find a new way to play around with this one. It got a couple of other changes, but if you want to get the details, maybe you can just read it, right? I think if I go through everything, it'll be a like 24 hours video or something like that. This is a huge amount of stuff. Huge. Holy shit. They were not lying when they say we should forget about what we know. This is a completely new game. So, yeah. Anyway, where were we? Okay. Oh, CC by players in general is nerfed. So it is harder, much harder to freeze enemy right now. Mostly. I think stunned is still the same. Yeah, I think stun is actually still the same, but freeze and electrocute is nerf. So it is harder. But I don't think this is I don't think this is actually going to be a problem, because we probably, if you just deals enough damage, if you just find a way to deal enough damage, you will just CC anyways. And because of how the resistance, for example, right now, if you freeze an enemy, it will have resistance to freeze for a duration after breaking from the freeze, right? And yeah, we just kind of need to wait for that period to be over anyway. So yeah, it just worked out. Herald chain is gone. We already know this. It is mentioned multiple times already by the developers in interview and in content review video. So nothing new. I just want to mention it here. We can no longer explode the screen by using multiple heralds that chain on top of each other. We can no longer use the very hard to pronounce ring to use Wither of Ice and just chain explode everything on the screen. That is no longer an option. Falcon dive. So I mentioned this one because accuracy stacking is something that we are anticipating to play as an Amazon. Amazon is going to give some flat damage based on the accuracy on your weapon, which is a whatever amount. I think you could get like almost 200 or 180 something flat physical damage. But the main thing is Accuracy stacking can give a lot of flat crit if you are using an Amazon and you take the point, the Ascendancy point for it. And if you want to stack accuracy, you kind of want something else to come with accuracy. And this Falcon Dive is the thing that you want. 1% attack speed per 50, 150 accuracy. It is actually quite a lot. So, yeah. Anyway, before this patch, right? But currently in the game, this actually got bugged. And they realized it and they fixed it. Let me just show you Falcon Dive here. It was providing 1% attack speed per 100 accuracy instead of 250, right? So now it would just become... Oh, wait. Oh, so it actually got nerfed. Yo, I'm bad. I am bad. So instead of 250, it is 250 instead of 150. My bad, my bad. So it used to be stronger. Now they fixed it, so they become worse, right? So right now it is 250. And Falcon technique is nerfed as well. Before it is 1% attack speed per 15 dexterity, which is much better than 25. Why am I mentioning this one? Because yeah, dexterity give accuracy, so this actually have very high synergy with each other. So I think it's still like viable. The bell, Tempest bell. Tempest bell. This thing got a lot of changes, but overall, it is heavily nerfed. So first of all, the limit to the number of bell is shared between copies. So right now, probably you can put maximum 2 bells. Not right now, but in the upcoming patch, when you use over encumbrance and maybe some other uniques can give you 1 additional bell, but it's very hard to actually put them down because you also have them require 10 combo to use, previously only 4. The belt also is destroyed after 10 hits instead of... We can easily scale this one to more than 20, right? So half the amount of hits. It does deal a little bit more damage if you look at the damage effectiveness here. But it also loses the deal 30% damage per elemental ailment affecting the belt. So yeah, overall, just all the information here, I think it is nerfed quite heavily. Probably roughly half. And you can now only trigger a shockwave every... So 4 times per second. This is a strict limit, it's not a cooldown, so yeah. You cannot just scale a lot of attack speed and just get a burst, a very bursty amount of damage. You cannot do cast on shock bolt lightning anymore to just trigger the bell multiple times. Well, there's that. Hammer of the God is also nerfed. So it is not technically nerfed in power, but it nerfed in the way that before you have a very long cooldown, right? So when you enter a battle, you can, or when you enter, let's say, a boss fight, you can use Hammer of the God right away to potentially one-shot the boss. But now you need glory to use, and glory is a resource that gets built up by heavy stunning enemy. This is going to be pretty damn annoying to do, unless you are a specific Ascendancy or you build heavily towards getting heavy stun. So this is going to be pretty annoying to get going on, especially early on when you don't have a lot of gear. So this, I think, is actually a heavy nerf. Yeah, Hammer of the God, not so godly anymore. Flame Wall get nerfed by almost half, and by Flame Wall here I mean the flat damage added for projectiles going through the flame wall, it is nerfed by roughly half as well. There are 12 less jewels socket on the skill tree. So yeah, less jewel socket, less jewels overall. So yeah, those are the things that I think are kind of like stand out. And it is already 20 minutes for this video. So if you want to go through everything here, I think the best bet for people who are not like crazy nerds on this game like myself and some other creators, people, the best bet is you just search for what you care about. For example, your build is, let's just say if you are a Titan, for example, you search for Titan and you see what they change. You search for the skill that you are using or the skill you want to use, for example, those kind of things. You just look for the stuff that specifically affect you. Otherwise, you kind of will be overwhelmed by everything here. This is totally a POE moment right here. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you find something helpful in here, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Now that we have these, it's time to plan the first character. Yeah, that's going to come next. Peace.